team. My name is Autumn Schultz. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Hy-Vee, Unity Point Health and Trinity Muscatine, Muscatine Power and Water, Becky Insurance, Toyota of Muscatine, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Impact Fitness and Nutrition, Lutheran Living Senior Campus, Impact Life Blood Center, Harper Cycling and Fitness, Muscatine County Fair, Bayer of Muscatine, and Muscatine Walk to End Alzheimer's. So I am Minnie Mouse today, and of course I will showcase my Mickey Mouse here in just a minute. I'm so happy he's here and he was willing to do this with me. Just so you know, Unity Point Health, Trinity Muscatine continues to bring on the right track of having more of a heart-healthy lifestyle, and with their upcoming event for their Heart to Heart Community Education Series. That is happening this evening at 5:30. It is the ABCDs of Preventing Heart Disease. This is going to be at the Musser Public Library. This is a free event, and if you'd like to find out more information, you can go over to the Discover Muscatine Community Calendar and provide all of that for you. And then this Thursday, join United Way of Muscatine for the Kids Fitness Dinner that is happening this Thursday. They are going to have a dinner and wine with Arden Creek, and this will be at the Merrill Hotel to support United Way's Kids First fundraiser. So that is happening this Thursday. It is $65 to reserve, and I believe it's also, do not quote me, I think he said $500 for a table of 8. So you can also do that. Social hour will start at 5 o'clock and the dinner will start at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, head over to United Way of Muscatine on their Facebook page or to their website to contact them for more information. So even though it's not Wellness Wednesday, we are going to be sharing a couple events that Impact Fitness and Nutrition is going to be having at Genevea Country Club, and also something to get started with the Halloween season. And I have my Mickey with me, Scott Schultz.
Oh, hi everybody.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't think I'd do that.
I didn't think you were going to do that. First, I have to do.
Well, you know, with a 2-year-old, we watch a lot of Mickey's Funhouse, right?
Yes, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Toodles. It's never ending. First off, I have to do a shout out to Starbucks because they were so kind and dropped off a little miniature pumpkin spice latte and also a pumpkin muffin. Cheers.
Cheers.
So thank you to Starbucks for that, because it smells delicious when they were just walking over with this. So anyways, Halloween season is here. Mm-hmm. You know it's my favorite.
It is. She starts in September.
Actually,
if Halloween could be all year long.
It's year round.
It is year round.
We have a Jack and Sally that hang up in our house all year round. So, do you know the Switch Witch?
I have heard of it, but no, you need to tell me more.
Okay, so the Switch Witch happens to encourage making healthy choices when sugar is obviously tempting when it comes to Halloween season. So we know that it is candy, and more candy.
And then just for a little more spice on it, candy on top of that.
Just a little.
Yes.
Just a little top on there. So I always encourage this, and now I don't want to say that I am a discouraged person when it comes to candy. I still have a sweet tooth. You know this. And never will I, and even in the sense of Patrick, I will never say he can't have something or neglect him from being able to go trick-or-treating. I mean, we did this as kids. Everyone loves doing it. It's fun and enjoyable. So I want to just talk about 3 tips real quick about how to create a healthy Halloween that includes the Switch Witch.
All right.
So 1, making your own healthy treats at home. Something super easy, family friendly, everyone loves to do it, and it gets the kids involved. Okay. So, I mean, I've seen it, you can just type up on, fun recipes on Google and find healthy, fun, Halloween parties at home and being able to host that. Right. Still enjoy the treats, but obviously we're being mindful about what decisions we make. And then, of course, I'll let you do this one.
Focusing on water and really limiting the sugar-sweetened beverages. If you've heard Minnie talk previously in regards to just our intake of sugar, added sugar, this is a great way to kind of control that. So once the sugar reaches your blood, water moves out of the cells. Yeah. And into your blood. And so to restore that balance, we need to have water in our system. Our cells lose water pretty easily, and then they send signals to the brain indicating they need more water. So is the result is that you feel the urge to sip on something while you are partaking.
Yeah, if you start devouring yourself into like even salty foods and high sugar foods, you get that dry mouth feel, and you're just going to grab whatever is closest to you. And typically what ends up happening is that your mindset is already in the sense of having extra sugar. Okay, hey, I'm going to enjoy this like fruit punch, or I'm going to enjoy a soda, or I'm just going to keep that sugar intake going when we need to be balancing it out with hydration and water.
Exactly.
And then, of course, getting the leftover candy out of the house, out of sight, out of mind. What ends up, I did this last year in the sense of allow them to, maybe it's the night of trick-or-treating, grab 5 pieces of candy. Grab the top 5, maybe it's their 10, and then in the sense of, and it's kind of fun, they take the candy then and set it outside their bedroom door. That next morning, the candy is gone, but it is being replaced with something, maybe it's clothes, maybe it's a toy, maybe it's something that they enjoy that they could use more often, and being able to like just leave an exchange of a small gift in replace of the leftover candy. You know, just out of sight, out of mind. Enjoy healthy treats, but at the same time still enjoy obviously the trick-or-treating, the atmosphere of it, but this can help reduce the amount of added sugar that they are putting into their systems throughout the day. Now that does not mean the parents go in and take the candy for themselves.
Right. Well, and I think what would be great to see in the comments, everybody has that little, that go-to snack or go-to piece of candy. And I'd love to see it in the comments, you know, what are people's favorite Halloween candy? I mean, just, I know you can, oh, it's like this, and this, like, what's that go-to? You see a big pile of it. I mean, you know, my dad, he would love Snickers. I just remember those times coming home and, you know, you start divvying it up to food. I love the Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
That was my jam.
It's still your jam.
It is still my jam. And all of a sudden you just see all these Snickers going over there. Well, you know, that's Dad. So, I mean, do you have one?
Do you know mine?
That's why I'm asking you.
I'm quizzing you.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, you're married. Jess just said you guys are married. You should know this.
That's not, you don't have to know everything. I can't remember the name of it.
Do you know the brand?
No.
Do you need help?
Yes, I need help.
Bunch of Crunch.
Bunch of Crunch.
It's just so convenient. That's why.
It is.
That's why I love it so much.
It is. Jess, Chris?
Yeah, Jess, Chris, what are your 2 favorites? Reese's?
Yeah. You had your go-to. You see a big pile of it. What's that one side? Oh, gotta have it. Pink Starburst.
Starburst.
Very specific. So what do you do with the other ones? That you just throw them?
I love how I'm reading our comment right now from Wesley, and she said, me drinking a pop as she says that. Have some water in between with the pop. But I always get so thrown off when I see the word pop, because I always say soda.
It is definitely a regional thing.
So when it comes to this too, obviously, like, we're still going to have fun with Halloween. We're going to be trick-or-treating.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Which trick-or-treating's at 5:30 on Monday. In here in Muscatine. And, you know, focusing on the water, limiting the sugar. Don't have sodas and pops and fruit punch and all that other stuff while you are dividing up all your candy. But then just being mindful of how much you have.
Well, and I mean, yeah, we don't want, we're not Halloween haters by any means. We want...
I am the queen of Halloween. I cannot be the Halloween hater.
Well, as far as the trick-or-treat candy.
Yeah.
We want everybody to go out and have an absolute blast, dress up in some great costumes. But as you said, just be mindful of the intake that we do. You don't have to eat all of what you get in one night. That would really be bad. You're going to wake up with a tummy ache.
Yeah. So. And your teeth are going to bother you too.
Teeth are going to, yeah.
So as we are talking more into the holiday season, so we are hosting 2 free events at Geneva Country Club this Saturday.
Yes.
Yours is at 10:30, mine's at 11:30, but mine is how to navigate a healthy holiday. And when you think of holidays, what comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, Thanksgiving and Christmas are 30-day, or well, a month apart. So yeah, you just think of family get-togethers. You think of all of this extraordinarily well-prepared food, and you think, oh my gosh, I have to have it all.
Yeah. You think family, festivity, and food, and lots of food. Because obviously we have Thanksgiving and Christmas, but then we have Christmas parties or, you know, get-togethers. We're going to have our annual holiday party for Impact. And it's more than just a couple holidays. It's weeks of celebration, because then you go into New Year's Eve.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, and then you think both sides of parents. I mean, now obviously it's a little bit different for me this year.
Yep.
But you know, talking about going to my brother's house, so you have not only have your own little celebration that you would have as just a family unit, but then you go to one side, then you go to the other side, and you know, nowadays even with divorces, that you have maybe more than just two places you're going. So all of a sudden, this just starts expanding, and you talk about companies, they'll have a little get-together, we have our little get-together, so all of a sudden, in between Thanksgiving and New Year's, there's an opportunity for all of this food. How is the best way to approach that?
Being mindful, and a lot. So here's a little study and article that I quickly found. So various studies to find that this holiday season is starting around Thanksgiving, and it ends actually in the second week of January, because a lot of people have holidays spread throughout. So in this review, they found in studies that adults do gain weight, and that's typically about a little over 2 pounds of consistently observed during that period. So they could go anywhere from a pound a week to 2 pounds. It depends on how much they're eating, depends on how many parties they're going to, whether it's Christmas parties, New Year's Eve parties, Thanksgiving, etc. So how do you stay on track when everyone around you seems to be, you know, splurging and just enjoying it? Not saying you can't enjoy it, but you can still be mindful and create a plan and stay on track. And this is all about consistency.
Right.
So here are just very quickly some of the 5 tips that we'll be talking about during this discussion. Is 1, remembering your why. So behind every goal that you create for yourself, there's an emotion behind it. I don't want to just say, oh, I want to just stay consistent. Well, why do you want to stay consistent?
Right.
Well, because I don't want to lose track of what I've already been working on. I don't want to derail myself. A lot of people also, when just maybe in the sense of maintaining weight. Well, again, why do you want to do that? That is such the important part of it. Is it's not just setting up a short-term goal or a long-term goal or a 4-week goal during holidays. I want to know why and get the emotion behind it, of why this goal is so important to you. And so we talk a lot about that during this time. The second one is staying consistent. Consistency is seriously the key to lasting results. And I think we talk about this almost every day.
And we do. And here's the side story. We were talking about a little bit of this yesterday. It's, you know, one, being able to navigate these holiday seasons with the dinners, but the ability to successfully navigate these next, let's just say, 2 months. Can you imagine if you're able to create that discipline to be able to say, all right, I'm going to manage how much of the sweets that I have. I'm going to add some more veggies. I'm going to do a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that. Because just like with the why that you were talking about, so we're starting to already plant those seeds. Now, a topic that I'd love to talk about later is planting the seeds. And so this past weekend, you know, our backyard, we're really trying to make a wonderful garden, a little pollinator garden as well. And so we're looking at April, May, June to see some of these flowers. But what are we doing now in October, early November, to be able to set ourselves up for that success. We just don't plant bulbs and boom, the next day there are flowers. We just don't do we just don't lift a couple weights or do a couple bird dogs or dead bugs and then look down and we automatically have these apps. This is a process. And so knowing what I've planted over the weekend, I'm going to look forward to what's going to happen in that time frame in spring to be able to see the fruits of what we did now. It's the same thing in fitness. It's the same thing in nutrition. And so we're not telling you, oh no, don't eat anything. No. Enjoy in moderation.
And of course, even in the sense of planning ahead. So a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Right.
And so in the busy season, you know, obviously a lot of times people put their health and fitness kind of just on that back burner during these the holiday season, saying, oh, I'll just make up for it in January. So they've done all this work from January of this year to October, and then November, December hits, and they're like, you know what, I don't need to do anything right now, I'm good.
Right.
So I'll do it back in, you know, January of the next year, and I'll catch up. Then all of a sudden they realize that all of that progress that they just did is gone because they allowed themselves to just say, you know, I don't need to go to the gym, I'm too busy, I don't need to do, you know, any movement or fitness.
Right.
Whatever people have, you know, that's what I'll eat.
Yeah.
Having a plan, you're able to set yourself up for success. Even if that means, hey, if you're going to a party, bring a side dish. Make sure, have it be a veggie, because that's so rare unless you see it as like a casserole.
Correct.
It's typically, no, really, just casserole. That's really the only time that you find a veggie of any type of sort, majority of the time.
Maybe the occasional veggie tray.
Yes, a veggie
That's
tray,
about it.
little appetizer right there.
Yes.
And so just setting yourself up, I know it's hard during the busy season. I know we have athletes that are like nonstop within their kids' lives and their own personal lives and work lives, but at least I know that they're still making the commitment to do some movement. And that's just the consistency and being mindful of saying, hey, I'm not going to allow the progress that I've made derail and put it on pause just because the holiday season is happening.
Right.
And so that's one of the main things that we're going to be talking about too. And when it comes to dinners, it's remembering the plate method. Pop quiz, what is the plate method?
Oh my, why you, I gotta always the pop quizzes. Plate method is just proper proportions of proteins, starchy carbs, and fat.
You missed one.
And
The one we just talked about. Your veggies.
my veggies. Yes.
So
See, veggies are they
can be forgetful.
They can be forgetful, yes.
So when it comes to plate method, no matter where you are, whether it's making lunch, dinner, making sure that we are keeping the plate method on our minds, helping us stay on track. So it's a half plate of veggies.
Right.
It's our quarter plate of lean proteins, our quarter plate of starchies, and a nice healthy dose of fats.
And so the quick illustration on this is obviously the size and stature of Autumn, different than me. Look around, there's different body types around. So when you, what's the quick guide for our veggies?
Our hand portions.
Is our hand portions. And so when you look at my hand portions compared to, and let's do this, no, go the other way. That my half plate is different than Autumn's. And so, you know, when you talk about fats, the healthy fats, the avocados, etc., you know, we're looking at thumbs. My thumb's just slightly bigger. When we look at proteins and we talk about the size of the palm, that when this being your guide versus Autumn, that it's different for everybody. So you just can't look at somebody's plate and go, oh my gosh, look at all that. Well,
yeah.
me compared to you is going to be a little bit different.
And when we even when I talk about that too, a lot of people are always saying, well, my dinner plate is a different size, or, you know, it's the 8-inch or the 8.5 inch, the 10-inch. And I say, I need you to visually just represent, I'm not saying you have to fill that whole plate up.
Correct, yes.
Just understanding how much of each one that you need to be having.
Mm-hmm.
So we even talk about like the food option guides, you know, how to be mindful, what areas to be focusing on when it comes to lean proteins or your glycemics staying on the low side, and understanding what are starchy vegetables and even what are non-starchy vegetables. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole consumment of understanding of what area needs to be in.
And eating to, you're about 80% full. I know that's kind of very, I mean, that's ethereal, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. That what's my 80% fullness of my food?
Well, then your brain's 15 minutes behind your belly.
Exactly. And so you go, oh, I've eaten to about 80%. Oh, I'm still hungry. I want to eat some more. Well, as Autumn said, brain's a little bit behind the fullness of the belly. All of a sudden you get to that 100%, and guess what? It's unloosening the belt time. It's the stretchy pant time. And so you just having that little discipline in it, mm-hmm. and maybe you're going to both families, one lunch and one dinner. I mean, you can still be able to do that at lunch, mm-hmm. at dinner. And so that's all we're asking, is just to be able to stay a little bit on the mindful side, understanding what we're saying, and just listen to your body.
And speaking of staying mindful, when it comes to dessert time. So I'm not saying you can't have a pie or your cookie or your cake or something. Obviously, we want to be mindful of how much we have of it,
yes.
because there is a thing called yo-yo dieting. And when it comes to yo-yo dieting, what ends up happening is that we crave certain things if we restrict ourselves from having it.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden we start thinking about it over and over and over again, that all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going for it. Mm-hmm. And then we end up over craving it or over consuming it. Mm-hmm. So am I ever saying, like, if you want a treat, if you want to go have a dessert, have it.
Have a dessert.
Have a dessert, but then just move on. Just move on from it. You know, obviously this is the season of sweets and treats, but feeling deprived of something that you can't have, mm-hmm. ends up obviously, you know, mind-setting overload. And it's okay to have a treat.
Because then I think then all of a sudden that we don't think that we deserve it, or we feel guilty behind it, and then we take it out on our workout, and so that's not the point of healthy habits.
Yeah, we don't want to say, oh, I had that, you know, here I am having a little bit of pumpkin spice, and I'm going to go now work out in the gym for 2 hours and punish myself. Why would I do that?
I remember seeing, now you guys know I love burpees. If I had only one exercise, again, if I had one candy to eat, all right, peanut butter cup. I had one exercise to do the rest of my life, and that's all I could ever do would be a burpee. Was it a couple years ago, and this probably starts making the rounds on Facebook fairly soon, that, a slice of pumpkin pie is 20 burpees, or this equals 50 burpees to be able to burn those calories off. That's not what nutrition, that is not what fitness is about. It's not about punishing yourself because you had this little extra piece. We're human. Enjoy that. But enjoy it in moderation, mm-hmm. and go in and just be be awesome in your workout again.
Yeah.
You don't have to do extra things.
No.
Just do what you've done. Stay consistent.
Beautiful. So, this will be on Saturday, October 29th. Mine is at 11:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
At Geneva. And we are going to dive into your portion that is going to be happening at Genevea at 10:30 a.m.
And that is stick mobility.
Mm-hmm.
We'll announce this again. It'll be in the lower level of Geneva. There's a little workout room. The more the merrier. We can move to accommodate more people, mm-hmm. but that's where we will be. I don't know where your presentation is going to be, though.
It'll be upstairs.
Yours is going to be upstairs?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do a little stage reset and show some demonstrations about stick mobility. We'll be right back.
Here at Toyota Muscatine, we're here to serve. When you buy a vehicle at a multi-brand dealership and it isn't locally owned, it can be difficult to get information that you need.
That's why all of our trained salespeople are focused on one thing, getting you the best deal possible on a new or used Toyota.
And when you pick your favorite, we will help you with financing and maintenance.
We love helping our neighbors.
Come to Toyota Muscatine today.
Hi, I'm TJ Deere, General Manager here at Toyota of Muscatine.
Hi, I'm Megan and I'm from Muscatine.
My name is Logan and I'm from Muscatine.
Here at Toyota Muscatine, we believe in investing in our community.
And that's why all our members are local to the Muscatine area.
It's why we give generously to charities based in our city.
Because we believe that giving back means paying it forward.
That's why an investment in us is an investment in our community.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
All right, we are back, and we are going to talk to Scott Schultz about stick mobility. And this class is happening for free at Geneva, and this is going to be on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. And fun fact, he is the only instructor in the state of Iowa that is certified as a stick mobility instructor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I didn't go about, I didn't do all this research to then go out and say, oh, I want to be the only instructor. It just so happens that going through that, then as we were looking through the stick mobility website, it's like, oh, by golly,
you
I am
are
the only one certified here in Iowa.
So can you first tell us, for maybe some people that do not know, what is stick mobility? As you need a break.
Excuse me. Stick mobility is a system using a specially designed or a specially manufactured piece of equipment, and this is it. It looks like PVC. It's not. It's a special polymer that allows the plastic to respond to you.
Okay.
So if you were to push through a PVC pipe, you might bend it. This has properties in it that keeps it much more rigid, but still bendable. So basically what stick mobility does is a way to be able to, it's a system to be able to create better joint mobilization, joint stability, and just overall something to be able to help you move better. When I talk to other people, it's almost like assisted yoga. Because if we have a problem getting into a particular, and I don't even want to call it a pose, but a particular stance or something similar to that, if we don't have the ability to be able to create that stability in our hips or our shoulders to do what we need to do, then we compensate elsewhere. What we're trying to do is isolate that movement through the joint and make sure that it's working better than it has. And then you start looking at the other side and you start creating this system of movement. And so, it's almost that I get at a loss for words because stick mobility is so amazing in terms of what you're able to do. It teaches you, as I mentioned, how to be able to be stable through a joint to be able to make something else mobile, but then it gives you the confidence. If we have terrible single leg stability, to be able to use this product then all of a sudden creates a confidence that we would not normally have to be able to now get into a particular movement. You know, it's used to help create tension in our bodies, positive tension. Positive tension is really good. And so this type of tension where we're all bound up, that one's bad, but being able to have tension and irradiate that tension through the joints into specific, into muscle groups, that helps us get better. And so as we relate it to, one, the general population, we all suffer from, you know, my good friend Sean talks about being a chairborne ranger. And, and we sit all day. Excuse me, I have a tickle. And we sit all day. And then our hips, because of that, we stay in flexion, and all of a sudden, we get tight through the hips. We stand up, oh my gosh, you know, then even if we're 30 or 40 years old, we feel twice that age. The roundedness that we get because we're on our phones or because we're at our TV monitor or our laptop. All of this posture, we don't have the ability to open up, and then just our ability to breathe kind of gets a little bit compromised. So where stick mobility is, when we coach at Impact, it's for the general population. And there are some things when we go to Geneva for golfers that have some specific benefit. Is there a crossover? Absolutely. But we can get things to be able to, difference between amateurs and professionals is range of motion. Can we create better ranges of motion to help us hit the golf ball longer? I think the stat is for every 1 mile an hour, I think you gain 3 to 5 yards in distance.
Okay.
So if I can get you to be able to increase your range of motion on your backswing, to be able then to create more power in your swing, faster swing, can then get you to hit the ball farther. There's a lot of other things that go into that and make up your swing characteristic, etc. But that's where the data is.
Okay.
Where do we want to start? We want to start with golfers, or where do we want to go? General population?
General.
General population.
I am not a golfer, so I would
Well,
like
you've
general.
golfed before. You know your way around a golf course.
I've hit a tree.
Not with a golf cart, just swinging a golf club and the ball went in the tree. Anyway.
So like, let's start with upper. I think one of them is overhead, which is really good, especially for people that are chairborne rangers or sitting at a desk. What is something that you would recommend upper body?
I want to get into, before I get into that, I want to get into the alternating joint theory.
Okay.
And this has some importance into then where I can take this conversation. So when we look at the ankle has the ability, and I do have bare feet. These are not white socks, mind you. Can you change the color on the broadcast? The ankle is a mobile joint, and so it has the ability to move in different planes of motion. As I'm facing the camera, as we walk, as we run, as we squat, as we lunge, that's the sagittal plane. Frontal plane is this way, so any type of movement this way, that's frontal plane. And then rotating, this is the transverse or rotational plane. So those are our 3 planes of motion that we have in everyday life. Excuse me. And so getting back to the ankle can move fairly well in all 3 of those. When we get to the knee is a stable joint. It's best served in the sagittal plane when it tries to move laterally, more times than not it's going to fail. But this is a stable joint. hips are meant to be mobile. So rotating, being able to tuck, untuck, or to be able to shift. Talk, like Shakira, the hips don't lie. Being able to have healthy hips, those are mobile joints. They can move in 3 planes. And I'll have you turn around here. Then,
Am I facing front or side?
right here. And
Okay.
so then the lower lumbar, this is a stable joint. Our thoracic joint, or our thoracic lumbar, is made for rotation. So, and then it goes over into the shoulder, down the elbow, etc. When we have low back pain, and I want to start there first. When we have low back pain, it's usually the hips and the thoracic spine not playing well together.
Okay.
That means we can't easily disassociate our thoracic spine from our hips. And so if this is the only way we can turn, of course, low back's going to hurt. Not silver bullets for the things that we do. Over time, it will get better. And so knowing that each of these joints are alternating, if we have knee problems, the thought is that we can work through our hips, work through our ankles to be able to help alleviate some of that pain in the knee. Again, not silver bullet. You're not going to take one blue pill and say, boom, it's all good, and I don't have any pain anymore. It's a process. So we talked about low back. This rounded posture that we get right here, again, because we're on our phones, because we're at our monitor, what we're trying to do is then be able to open up the chest and be able to be here. So some of the things we can do very simply, getting the tissues active in both the anterior and posterior tissues. And so what I'm going to have you do is, this stick is going to be eye height for you. My eye height, a little different than yours.
Yep.
But what we're going to do is, just to get the tissues a little active, I want you to lengthen the stick. And so we're going to pull that stick apart. And so what's happening is, you get a lot of activation in the fascia lines and the tissue back here in the upper back and the shoulders. Now, just by shortening the stick, it now comes to the front, around the pecs, around the chest, more in the anterior. And so we pull apart, lengthen the stick, shorten the stick. That's just a way to be able to start priming the system. In terms of what we can do overhead, let's see, there's quite a bit. Let's see, where do we want to go from here? So let's put this on top of your head, and what I want you to do now is to lengthen the stick and then press up. And so now we get that same activation back here, but now we're beginning to get our shoulders through some different ranges of motion. Now I want you to actively shorten the stick and pull it back down. So now we bring the anterior, we bring the front into play. And so this is just a simple way to start getting tissues activated. When we start getting into the seated positions, hip movement is absolutely critical. One of the things that we do in every class, and what you'll see on Saturday, are hip tucks. Hip tucks are one of the ways to see how our hips are strong and stable and even mobile, because as we're in flexion, what happens here is that these muscles shorten. And so as they're shortened and they pull us down, what happens is they start pulling the hips forward. Now, as the hips go forward, what happens to my back? We get into low back extension. And so then the chest sort of flares and we walk around like a duck. I mean, it's not to make fun of people. It's just a natural condition of what happens when we sit quite frequently. So having healthy hips, so to be able to You're going to push down, you're going to plant this into the ground, and then you're going to tuck go into anterior tilt. So this is sort of our duck posture. And then, because we're doing two things. One, we're working through the ground, grabbing the ground with our feet. We're stable through here to keep the shoulders stable. Now, the hips are able to untuck and tuck underneath as they are supposed to. I'm not standing up because I'm rooting this into the ground. So this is the benefit one of the benefits to stick mobility. There's thousands of things to be able to do, but this is one thing that I look for in hip health. When we look at other things to be able to move, it's a simple gait posture or gait movement. What I want you to do is basically if you're 5'10" and below, you have, I want both sticks.
Okay.
You have a 6-foot stick, and then you have an accompanying 4-foot stick. Me being 6 foot, generally is that 5'10" is that cutoff. And then we have the 7-foot stick. Now my labels are kind of getting well used, which is a good thing. Don't go anywhere. What I want you to do is you're going to be hip width apart with your foot. I want this left stick at 12 o'clock. I want this stick at around 2 to 2:30.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do, now we have a couple things. I want hands, shoulder height.
Okay.
Here's where we get proper movement through specific joints. We're going to work the hip. And so what this is going to do is, the way I cue is that we're going to squeeze the ground with that left foot. Soft knee. I want you to feel as if you're pushing the ground away. What do you feel? That goes up all the way into the hip and into the glute, correct? Okay. High knee with your right knee. We connect here and here. If we didn't have the ability to be able to plant this stick down around 20 to 30% into the floor, this one into the floor. Now, I know how to be able to control this to be able to go here, but you know, are we kind of falling all over the place? If I were to have her do this hip drill that I'm trying to do, I'm falling all over the place. We have the sticks. We are stable through the shoulders. We're stable through this left hip. Now, just to be able to open up and close, there's our open and close. And what's happening, because we're stable through this left hip, the hip doesn't open. So go ahead and release the tension on that left side and just open the gate again. What happens is that now this hip starts compensating and rotating with. So that's the idea of using the ground as our friend. Golfers, we have to, times infinity, use the ground to be able to be stronger and more powerful on the golf course. So again, she's squeezing the ground. If I were to come in here and try to take her toe off the ground, it doesn't work. I can't get that off. She's planting those sticks here. She's grabbing here. So we're isolating the movement. This is what stick mobility is all about. Try it at home. You can take a broomstick, if you so, a couple broomsticks, or use something like a wall to be able to hold you up, and then try that just in free space to be able to do this. Now, I've been doing this for quite a while. I understand what my body needs to be able to do that. But I really, really, really have to work hard. Isolating, sort of 3 quadrants of the body and being able to do the hips starts to get you feeling better. At least starts making that movement better. We talk about range of motion. Range of motion is great, and that's the goal that we have to have. So if this is my normal range of motion, I get to here, and that's my passive range of motion. Now, actively, and then if I add more range of motion in here, that's our goal. But what we need to do is that when we get that new range of motion, now we have to create strength. And so how do we do that? We start changing the intensity of what we do through the stick. We start lengthening the amount of hold time. Generally, we're mobilizing for 5 to 7 seconds. We're roughly at 20 to 30% intensity through the ground, through the stick, to be able to get better mobility. When I tell you, then double that intensity into the ground, double that intensity into the stick, or if you don't mind grabbing that other long stick again, getting back in that same position, 11 and 2. And then hands shoulder height. Bring that right hip. Okay, so now we did some range of motion stuff. Now what I can do, I want you to press inward into the stick. So guess what? Now abductors, adductors, they're working in conjunction. This left side starting to get strong. And now open up this way. And now the same pressure, double that amount of pressure in here. So now, again, now are we getting this push and pull, the intensity's up. So now we have better range of motion, and within that new range of motion, we've created strength. That's one of those keys to doing this, and okay, you can stop right now. And I call it a key to life, is just, yes, range of motion, stability in that range of motion. I will say everybody has good mobility. Some have better mobility than others. However, what we lack is stability. As we get older, our ability to be able to get strong hips, strong glutes, when we walk upstairs, what happens? We have to hold on to a rail because we don't have the confidence through the ground and through the muscles that we need to be able to go up, or we shuffle because we don't have, again, that strength and stability. When we do our classes in Impact, I invite people to come out to Geneva, whether you're a member or a non-member, no big deal. I want you to experience this. I feel this is a game changer for a lot of people. That will open their eyes into what they thought their body could do, but then getting to what their body should be able to do. One of my favorites is called slap shot. So let's drop one stick, and we'll make this our last one before we get out of here. Stick goes to the middle of your back. Again, working with the ground. Feet are strong through the ground, so we're grabbing the ground. Think of a big bird on a big branch. Soft knees. And then we sit back into the chair, we hinge. When I look at a hinge, knee stays right over the ankle. Gentle pull part of the stick. So again, taking care of the upper back and shoulders. And then rotate this right hand down. All right, you're okay, Miss Bendy. Come back a little bit. There we go. Autumn has great mobility. So now we're in this different position. Push down through the right hand. Pull up through the left. Now we're starting then to open up the chest. We started talking about, okay, if I'm this chairborne ranger and I'm right here, my ability now to be able to open up, we're this way, just like we're on the hips, and these muscles get short. When we're here, pecs get short, so our ability to open up is that much more difficult. This exposes that and starts to get you more You're welcome. I got it.
Aw, team player.
Team player. There we go. And so there again, on this other side, you do not see the hips rotating at all. So hips, mobile joint, but we have them stable. The low back is helping in the rotation for stability, but we're getting our rotation through here. How does that help? Well, if we're driving down and we have to reach back into the car, we're at a stoplight, we have to grab something back here. So think about everyday uses of the planes of motion that we do. We often get lost in that. This is a simple one called Slap Shot. We have some great ones, Ninja. But the cool names aside, this is just a system. It's for everybody. Whether you're 23 or you're 103, your ability to be able to use the stick as a complete system in conjunction with the correct external cues for your body creates better mobility and then stability. I'm passionate about this. I love this product, and that's one of the reasons why I started diving into this a lot more. Runners, golfers, I mean, everyday people can absolutely benefit from this. I want my stick.
How are you? Oh, did I turn off? I did. Hey, we're back on. Thank you for that.
Well, you didn't say much anyway, so
I didn't say anything, so it's okay. Well, so this is on Saturday at Geneva. This is completely free for everyone. So this is 10:30 a.m. is for stick mobility. Send us a message. Let us know that you're interested in it. We do also have classes Tuesdays and Thursdays as well with this. And then the nutrition talk, the 5 tips for navigating a healthy holiday, that is going to be at 11:30 a.m. at Geneva. Again, this is completely free. So if you want to, you can RSVP, you can message us, or just show up and just get started on some creating healthy habits for you. I think this is a great way to start. This is for literally everyone. You do not need to be an athlete to be able to enjoy something that is so relaxing. Even just doing those simple little stretches for me right now, like my shoulders feel better and my hips feel good right now. My glutes got a little fire with the intensity, and it's not, I think people just get misled, like, oh, I'm just doing poses, it's not really going to do anything for me. When you're in our classes, I mean, it is a workout. We do intensify it.
I can make you sweat during these classes.
You can sweat during these. So both of us teach stick mobility, and so I also like to incorporate using kettlebells and adding a strength component to our classes. So there's always that option too within our, just what we teach and how we teach it, and making sure that everyone is just feeling happy and healthy, especially during these times too.
Yep.
So, good job. Way to go. So those classes will be on Saturday, 10:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. at Geneva Country Club. So thank you so much for joining me. Way to go. Tomorrow, though, is Wellness Wednesday, and we will be talking to Unity Point Health Trinity Muscatine about October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. I will have pink on for breast cancer, so I won't have a costume on. But, you know, I'll wear pink.
You have plenty waiting in reserve.
I do. Perfect. Until then, Muscatine, stay happy and stay healthy. I will see you later.
When you buy a vehicle for Toyota Muscatine, keeping your vehicle safely on the road is our highest priority.
We offer scheduled maintenance and extended service hours for those unexpected repairs.
Our service department's mechanics are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality of care.
Feel free to ask any of our friendly staff if you have any questions.
Come on down to Toyota Muscatine today.